and welcome back to yet another episode of Learning with Junaid. Today we are going to be discussing about an important interview question. How do you implement two stacks using one array? So this has been asked in multiple companies. So we are going to see a Java implementation of how we are going to do this. The answer is in the question itself. So basically you have to have two stacks and there is only one array. So you have to implement that one array using two stacks. We can be using our inbuilt stack per se, so we will have to define our own stack in a way. We will have one push for stack 1 and push 2 for stack 2, and then we will have a pop 1 for stack 1, and then we will have a pop 2 for stack 2. So how do you do that? I'm going to first go ahead and declare a few things. Since I'm working with two stacks, I will have two tops. So one will be the top 1 for stack 1, and then the other one will be a top 2 for stack 2. And then since I'm working with array, let me also declare an array. For the sake of clarity, I will be working with 10 elements. Let's say I will define 10 elements as my array size for the sake of clarity. And then let's just define a constructor where we will initialize all these values. Let's say I will have size, even though I'm not doing anything with it, but nevertheless, so I'm going to go ahead and say -1. So the idea to implement something like this is in this diagram itself. So you start off your stack 1 from the first index at here. You start off your stack 2 from your last index, the maximum size, and then every time you push an element, you decrement your stack 2 values, the top. So this will be your top, right? This will be your top T1, this will be my T2. So you decrement every time you push, and you increment your stack 1 every time you push. Similarly, when you pop, you decrement your top 1 minus top 1 to go back, and then you will decrement your increment your top 2 to come back to where you are. So let's see how we implement it. Initially I will define as top 1 as -1 and top 2 as my maximum size, or 10, or you could have just used the same size in the constructor, it would not have mattered. Then you will also initialize an array, a new int of size. So now you have an constructor which we have initialized everything. So now let's go ahead and write your methods. So you know that you will have stack push 1 that will push into stack 1. Then you will have stack push 2 that will push into stack 2. Similarly, you will have stack pop 1 that will pop out from your stack 1. Similarly, you will also have stack pop 2 that will pop out from your stack 2. So this will be void because you're pushing the values. This will be a void. This will be returning us back an integer. For the sake of clarity, right now I'm just going to say return 0. Similarly, I will have return 0. Let's go ahead, format it. So now go and create an object of this class and initialize it. Stack equal to new, let's say 10. So what I will do is I am going to insert some values into stack push 1. I will insert 5 values starting from here to here. Similarly, I will insert 5 values starting from here to here. So let's see how you do it. You say for int of an I equal to 0, I is less than 4, I plus plus, insert 5 values, where into your stack 1 dot push, and you are going to be inserting I. So this takes the value I. this takes the value. Similar thing I am going to do for stack 2 as well. I am going to say, so instead of inserting just that, I will mention j plus 10. Now let's go ahead and implement the push one. How do you push? As I already told you, you already have a top one, right? You already have a top one. So you will, when you're pushing the values, you will increment the top one. When you're pushing the values into stack 2, you will decrement this top 2. So you will increment the top one plus, or you can say plus top 1, and then you will push those values into your similar thing you will do for this one as well. You will say minus top 2, minus top 2, not top 1, because you're inserting in stack 2, right? So this is stack 2. Okay, so you have you put the values, so it would have put the values here, this would have put the values here, but you still not accounted for the overriding, or the stack is full. So you have to accommodate for stack is full. You have to add the check. How do you add the check for stack is full? You have to also check if my top 1 is it less than top 2 minus 1. Only then will you push these values. Otherwise you will say, man, stack is full. Stack is full, right? Same check needs to be added here as well in your else. I'm going to go ahead and say stack is full. So now you accommodated for stack is full value, so it will only insert values until here. In case of stack 1, it will only insert values until here in case of stack 2. Now go ahead and do a pop 2. So I already told you for pop 2 what do you do. For pop 2 you will go in the opposite direction. You will say, since you're already here, you've pushed it, you will minus until you come here. So you will say top 1 minus top 1 minus from your array, whatever was the value, take it into a integer and return that value, right? Similarly, I already told you about stack 2 pop. Stack 2 pop is it standing here, so you will go back, so you will increment whenever pop 2 is increment. So it's an opposite direction of push, right? So you will say data of top 2 plus, then this will be your integer value, and then return the value. So you implemented a basic pop for pop 1 and pop 2. Now you still did not account for a scenario. The scenario is you cannot be popping out when the stack is empty. How do you check if the stack is empty? In case of stack 1, you always can go ahead and check if my top 1 is greater than equal to 0. Only then will you pop. So at some point, if you keep decrementing your top, if you keep decrementing your top 1 minus, at some point your top 1 would have come here. So only when it is 0, then can you pop out the elements. Anything after that, there is nothing here. The stack is nothing here. So you are going to go ahead and return the value. Otherwise, you will say, man, stack is empty. stack is empty, and return some value like this. Okay, in case of stack 2, so how do you check? So you have to, you can only pop out the elements until you have reached the maximum size, right? So you will go and say, if my top 2 is less than maximum size, only then can you take out the values from this. Otherwise you will say the same thing. So now you have push 1, push 2, pop 1, pop 2, and you've accommodated for stack is full and stack is empty. So now you've inserted some values, 5 values in stack 1, 5 values in stack 2. So now go ahead and pop out these values and see what happens, right? And then you will say, for int of an I equal to 0, I is less than let's I plus plus, I'm going to pop out I'm going to pop out the values. Stack 1 pop, value is stack plus, oh sorry, plus stack dot stack pop 1. Similarly, I'm going to say stack pop 2. I'm going to add some separator between this and this for clarity. Have you done everything? Yeah, I think so. Let's see. You see now? So the stack 1, so this will be stack 2 pop. So stack 1 will first pop out 4, stack 2 will pop out 14. It will pop out 4, this will pop out 14. The next time it will pop out, stack 1 will pop out 3, stack 2 will pop out 13. The next time stack 1 will pop out 2, 12. Then 1, 11, finally 0 and 10. So this is how actually you implement your 2 stacks into one array. Very easy solution. All you have to do is maintain your tops to know that where my stack stands, and then you start putting values into stack 1 from the beginning, and then you start putting values for stack 2 from the end until you have put here. Then stack is full already, because that's a check that you've done here to make sure that you don't put values when the stack is full. And once you have the stack full, if you want to pop out, you just go in the reverse direction. You just go and keep decrementing until you reach here. You keep incrementing until you reach here. So you can't be popping out if it is less than 0, because that's your top. You can't be popping out if your S2 is greater than max size. So that way you have accommodated that stack is empty. So that's pretty simple. Again, if you practice a few times the same thing, it would become much easier. So that's how you implement a stack using only one array, 2 stacks using one array. If you've liked this video, if you want to comment, please go ahead and comment. If you have still not subscribed to my channel, I would please appreciate it if you can comment or if you can subscribe to my channel. I will be back next week with more videos. Until then, see you. I hope you all are keeping safe with this COVID-19 virus, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.